ladies and gentlemen. Pakistan is famous for being late, so I expect that the rest of our colleagues will join us pretty soon. So I want to talk a little bit about the global scenario. We are living in a world that is going grey every day.
Madam Deputy Speaker, August House. Just over 30 years ago, the largest collection of world leaders congregated in Rio and signed off on what is now the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, whose sole objective it is to stabilize greenhouse gas change. And these solutions can only be found in a changed lifestyle that lives within nature and not against it. Thank you.
Can you now hear me? Okay. So, as is the case in Pakistan, our parliament is also very much affected by technology glitches, eh? So I now invite people, two very august members of the House who oppose this motion. So Inga Jacobs-Marta.
We stand to challenge the motion that prioritizes nature-based solutions for safeguarding water in the age of climate change. While the intent behind it is commendable, we propose that the urgency and scale necessitate a robust emphasis on technology and infrastructure development.
It's time to thrust water into the spotlight because water matters in the battle against the climate change. What kind? Just let us take a stark look towards the world which we all inhabit today. What kind of world is this? Did we desire for the world where advanced technologies coexist with a harsh reality that safe and healthy drinking water is but a distant stream for millions of peoples? Look around you, see the city lights.
Instead of simply restoring infrastructure that has admittedly become a bit outdated, there's an opportunity to modernize, which is an engineering solution, but it serves a different objective. Instead of having this sort of irregular...
While Allah is merciful, nature is that He has blessed us with is not. We engineering and efforts can try to harness nature, but when we try to tame nature or challenge it, that's where the trouble starts. When you say by taming nature or challenging it, you bring on board the marginalized people, the reverse is true. When you make a large dam, you drown the people who are living upstream and you displace everybody who is downstream. So massive interventions when you're trying to challenge nature does not work. So that was the comment I was trying to make, is that yes, God has blessed us with things that we can harness, but don't try to challenge nature. Results are in front of us, the climate disasters, and water is leading that disaster. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Tariq?
The panel. I would like to pose a question for everyone up on the stage. Could you kindly give us arguments for a joint existence? The ultimate reality of our presence here is a joint existence. So I would like, if you could initiate that.
Okay, thank you. We are noting all the points and we will allow the leaders of...
Very compelling, of course. But like Tariq said, not in isolation. Also, we cannot take water technology and its sustainability in isolation itself without looking at the population issues that are in Pakistan and Karachi and the urbanization that's going on. So I would consider that when we talk about water sustainability, we look at the whole environment rather than just water itself.
Thank you. That's often the elephant in the room.
On one side, it was like go back to the nature. If we don't do anything, we will definitely, globe will adjust itself and put us back into the nature, because when flood comes, you go back to the nature. Everything demolishes. On the other side, we use the technology, we use the new technology, we use still the new technology, but if we will not do any enforcement that after using that technology or after building the dam, we do not regulate the water equitably, we will end up into the disaster. So, yes, we will not go back to our natural habitat as we used to live, because then you cannot move ahead with the life, with the modern life. But using the technology with the enforcement will actually bring the fruits, actually. Thank you.
All right, noted. Next one. There's a gentleman here, and then Zulfikar over there, and then Fiza. Okay.
I think combined approach would be best. We should not be either fully for nature or for technology. I'm an engineer, and I firmly believe that a combined approach is best. You mentioned 97% of the water is being used by agriculture, and we are amongst the most inefficient users of water in agriculture in the world. So there's a lot of, shall I say, advantage in doing things in a combined way. So as such, in our parliament over here also, a middle approach would be best. Thank you.
Okay, Zulfikar, Dr. Zulfikar.
Thank you, Simi. Wonderful arguments from both the sides. I feel that for the short to middle term, we need all the solutions that we have at our disposal, because it's a magnitude of the challenge which is huge. For the short to middle term, infrastructure is necessary, but in the long term, I agree with Rafe that we have to go back to the nature. We do need degrowth, and we need to rethink as how we function as humans in line with the nature. Thank you.
Simi Sahaba.
Sounds like back to the caves. No, this is what the sustainability to stay with the nature. Thank you.
Okay, Shatanvi.
And the best in both is not compromise. The best is, like nature does, to understand from the principles of ecology that should survive, which is best for the system as a whole.
It was to lay out the stage, literally, for the discourse that will follow. And it's important to speak about financing for water projects.
Create structures which become attractive and investable by the private sector, whether that's debt or equity or guarantees. In terms of water and sanitation, I mean, water is one of the key priority sectors for PIDGE, and we've been promoting investment in water infrastructure both at the urban and at the rural level. We've recognized over many years the challenge of actually investing in water by the private sector. We are realistic that the SDG 6 target of universal access to water and sanitation.
It was a risky move, but mashallah, it paid off. The very first year of our operations, we did about, I think, top line about 2.7 billion rupees. And we closed our last year, which was the fifth year, north of 100 billion. So, and the idea was that we focused ourselves in a very fragmented industry, which is basic staples, wheat, rice, and edible oil. And
because canal water is so unreliable. Sometimes, you receive canal water when they actually, sometimes what happens is that you don't know when canal water will come, so you have to pump groundwater to irrigate, and actually the canal water comes the next day and you don't need it because you have already used the pumped water. And yeah, basically farmers get their water from the ground. And water from the ground is on demand. You turn the pump on, you get water. That's the best service you can get in the irrigation sector. On-demand water is excellent. Canal water is very far from that, right? But there are ways to modernize the irrigation systems and to get water not on demand, but at least on an appropriate schedule, responsive to the farmer's needs and with the right quantity at the right time. on a schedule, right? And that could go along.
Agriculture policy professional in Pakistan, often the kind of questions you get, I'm glad I'm getting this kind of question. Often the kind of questions you get have to do with, you know, Kazim, can you talk about the myths surrounding agriculture? So you're talking, there's such little knowledge that we're talking myths and legend, and you start thinking about the Fellowship of the Ring. That's why I took the liberty of bringing some facts to your attention, so to break down some of these myths. If you can just show, there's a couple of slides that can help communicate more effectively. To start with, I represent Pakistan Agriculture Coalition, which is a company established by the leading business groups of Pakistan.
Project better through using credit enhancement, through using early stage equity to bring it to a level where the bank is comfortable and the project owner is also comfortable with how this works. Having said that, it is a huge challenge. And the more we explore the water sector, and we're starting with...
It's 100,000 acres land available. So these are always a kind of a political dynamics where you want to give favor, you can do it. But coming to this participation of people in the system, that's one way, and introducing accountability system that really helps in addressing these equity issues. And recently, since the government has